Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back into my garage, my man cave, for another day of accountability. I hope you guys are doing well with yours. Today's Tuesday, it's June 30th, the year 2020, and I read through Hebrews chapter 11. That's going to deal with seeing the invisible future. So I want to start by reading these two verses to you. There are two verses that really stuck out to me. They're Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, and Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. It says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." And that's verse number 1. Verse number 6 says, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." You see, Hebrews 11 is often notated as like the Hall of Fame of faithful leaders. It tells stories about men and women that were in faith who triumphed in their lifetimes. What it's really talking about, though, is vision. So Hebrews 11:13 says, "All these people were still living by faith when they died. They didn't receive the things promised, only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting they were foreigners and strangers on earth." Faith and vision are hard to distinguish between. These leaders, in fact, had vision, since they didn't get to see what God had promised in person. They got to see it from a distance through other people. They saw the invisible future, if you must. Ancient men and women of faith continue to lead the way today because of their vision, their confidence, their hunger, and their resolve. Now, they in their vision, they saw promises from afar off. These leaders had power for today because of the vision for tomorrow that they had. Now, if we look at their confidence, they were assured of promises and they remained optimistic because they wanted to make a legacy more than a living. And that one's huge, because everybody that I know is out to, make a living. You go to a job to work to provide for a family, and you need to make a living in order to survive. And while that is true, creating a legacy is more important than any kind of living that you make. Creating a legacy, something to leave for the next generation to grow on, that is so important. Thirdly, their hunger is something that they embraced those promises that God made. They had ownership of what only their descendants would enjoy. So they were hungry to see like things that God had told them, like Abraham and Sarah. They were, far too old to have children by normal day standards, but God was able to handle that for them. Just in the fact that Abraham was going to sacrifice his son, knowing that God had already promised that through his son they were going to have descendants as many as the stars. He figured that, well, I'm going to follow God. God can raise him from the dead. I know his promise. I'm just going to follow him. Lastly, the men and women of faith continue to lead the way because of their resolve. They confessed that they were strangers in this land. They made up their minds. They knew that their dreams, not their memories, consumed them. So they didn't live in the past. They lived in what God said was going to be the future. And that is so huge, because in today's society, people don't have the vision, they don't have the confidence, they don't have the hunger, and they don't have the resolve. That's something that they're things that can be learned, but they're just things that you don't see in very many people. It's not common. And so really, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that in order to be leaders of our family, in order to be leaders in our church and in our communities, we really need to start stepping up and figuring out that God is giving us a vision, God is giving us confidence. He's giving us the hunger to go out and do that, and He's giving us the resolve to know that what's in the past is in the past. Our eyes need to be set on the future, that we can accomplish so many things. All we have to do is listen to God and wait for Him to speak, and know that when He speaks, it's just and it's true. So Hebrews 11, definitely an amazing read. If you haven't read it, I ask that you read the whole thing. It's I believe it's like 32 verses long. Pretty good in my book. So definitely something to read, maybe even read more than once. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys had an amazing time. I know that I always do when I share these things. These are the things that I've learned. It's always amazing to share what you've learned, regardless of if people ever see it or not. Just knowing that you've learned it is the bonus for itself. So I would like to see God move in this world, and I would like to see Him move in this community that I have, and so that's why I put it on video for people, and I hope that they like Hebrews 11 as much as I did. So if so, go ahead and throw me a thumbs up here. If you think that I could expand on things a little bit more, or if I can do anything different, or just want to say hi or whatever, leave that in the comment section. I always love to read your guys' comments, and I will respond to you. And lastly, if you haven't subscribed already, if you found this video and you like what I'm talking about, go ahead and subscribe. Ring the bell. It'll notify you every day of when I make a video, as this is my vlog of what I've learned every day in reading the Bible and being accountable in that. So, all right, guys, I hope you guys are being safe. I hope you're being blessed, and I hope you guys go and grow.